Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Smart Start blogging class. I'm Christina and this is Sarah, and we are going to take you through everything you need to know to start a smart blog. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm going to share my screen so that you can see our PowerPoint that we've prepared. One moment, and I will do that.
Things are a little slow. Christina is in Pennsylvania and I'm in Texas, so we're trying things out with Google Plus, and today the internet's a little slow, but I promise it's not going to affect the rest of the class.
Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so welcome to the Smart Start blogging class. As I mentioned, my name is Christina Hitchcock, and I blog over at itisakeeper.com. I am a food, home, and lifestyle blogger. I've been blogging for about 6 years now, so I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. Sarah and I have partnered up to form the Smart Blogger Academy so we can share all of these lessons that we've learned with you. So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Sarah?
Sure. I am Sarah Kostusiak, and I blog at Life, Love, and Time. It is a holistic living site. And so I've had a couple of blogs along the way, just a few, right? It's not addictive or anything.
2, 3, 4.
Right? But I started my very first, I started websites a long time ago, and I started my very first blog when I was 12 weeks pregnant with my son, who will be 8 on Monday. So it's been a while.
Good times. So you want to tell us a little?
That one's me, I believe.
Yeah.
So smart, right? We've got this smart, we say it's the Smart Blogger Academy. We have the smart system, the smart, smart start. We talk about this smart. And for us, smart means something. It's not just, hey, you're smart. It's that it means something to us. And so when you're blogging and when you're looking to be move your blog into a money-making, more professional job kind of situation, there are certain things that you need to remember. You need to think about the S is SEO, search engine optimization. M is monetization. A is audience. R is reach, so your social reach, and T is time management, because there's so much on your plate as a blogger, and you've got to be able to do it all and manage your time. So these are the things that we're definitely, of course, there's a lot more, and these are our main categories, which we'll talk a little bit about that later. But these are our main categories in the SMART system, and we will hit those as we go through.
Yeah, we'll reach this in the course, and then also we're going to cover it in our Smart Blogger Academy.
Okay, so Smart Blogger Academy, like, what is this? We call it an academy because we have different levels of our site. So we have this Smart Start course, which can be independent, but it also is part of our main Smart Blogger Academy, and where we have a membership and a forum where we offer all kinds of things, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But the Smart Blogger Academy is courses for beginning and intermediate bloggers. We also have private coaching and mentoring, and the membership site that we're going to talk about, I think, on that next slide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our membership. What is membership? The membership is a private, active forum where you can ask any questions and get help. So there are tons, there's so much, the learning curve is so large, and even still, like blogging for years and years and years, we are still constantly learning because blogging and social media changes daily. And so you've got to have a place, you've got to have a tribe, you've got to have a group of people to talk to and ask, hey, what do I do with this? How are you doing this? What's working? And so we've created that safe space for you where we're in there, and you can bounce ideas off other bloggers, but you can also bounce ideas off us and have access to our experience in this private forum. We have a public group, our public Facebook group, Smart Blogger Academy, but then we also have a separate one that's just for members where we're going to actually answer all of your questions, and we're going to have weekly roundtable and Q&A sessions. We'll be talking about certain topics and teaching more, and you'll also have 24/7 access to all the courses and any course that we create, and all the videos and discussions that are already in the site Smart Blogger Academy.
Yeah, so if you bought this course as a standalone course, you will get access to it for free through the private membership form.
Right. Right. So there's two ways to access this course, right? Either you just bought the course because you weren't quite ready to commit, you're not sure, and that's great, that's fine. Or you're watching it as part of the membership. And so there were just two different ways to access this course.
Yep. Okay, well, let's get started with the course. So in our Smart Start blogging course, you're going to learn a lot of things. So get ready to take notes. I recommend having a notebook exclusively for the course so you can take notes as you go and then work through some of the activities in a notebook, and it's all in one place. So here's what we're going to cover. How to identify your target audience. We're going to talk about setting up your blog the smart way. So don't go through all of the hurdles and things that we did along the way. Take our lessons to heart and learn to do it the smart way. We're going to talk about planning content and making sure you have good quality content on your site. We're going to talk about creating blog posts and images and what goes into that, creating good images and good quality blog posts. We're going to talk about how people find your blog, and we'll talk a little bit about page views and getting more traffic to your site. We're also going to talk about social media strategies and networking tips, ways that you can amplify the content that you've already created, and again, get more readers to your site. As we mentioned in the definition of SMART, we're going to talk about time management because that is super important when it comes to blogging. And it's something that I know I'm willing to admit I struggle with on a daily basis, is making sure I'm managing my time effectively and working smarter and not harder all the time. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how to track important information for your blog.
This course is actually an 8-session course. So we will not today, in this session, we're not going to cover all of that stuff. But over the course of these 8 sessions that you'll get, we will cover all of that information. So don't freak out like, oh my God, I'm going to learn all this today. Today we're starting with session 1, and that is, we're just going to start, we're going to go back to the beginning. You already have a blog, that's fine, but we want to make sure that you've thought through all of this stuff. And we're going to talk about your niche and your target audience, because those things can be, you can change that. It doesn't matter if you already have a blog. Those things, we want to make sure that you're very clear about what's your niche and who you're writing to, who's reading, because that's going to clear up the rest of, that's going to make blogging so much more easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to cover here is, what do I write about? So there's a couple ways to do that. And I think a Venn diagram is a great way to break into that. We want you to think about a couple of things. First of all, we want you to think about you. What are you passionate about? What topics are you an authority on? What problems can you solve for your readers? So put yourself, that's the blue circle. So topics that involve you. The orange circle is topics that involve your readers. So what are they interested in right now? What are people, like, what is trending? What are people, Googling? What are they looking up on Pinterest? What is the hot topic now? What topics, what problems do your readers have that you can solve? And then the third circle, the purple circle, is about money. If you are in blogging to make a profit, cover your expenses. Maybe you want to quit a job and focus on blogging full time. You need to look at the money aspect of it. And the topic there that you want to think about is what can make you money and what people will buy. So we want you to have that mindset too when you're going about it. And where these 3 circles intersect in the middle is where your blog is. So you need to find, that sweet spot on where you want to focus your blog, your content, and what you're going to write about. So again, we're talking about, readers want to solve a problem. They want to learn something new. They want to be entertained and they want to be inspired. So think about those things when you are coming up with your content, when you're starting to think about what you're going to cover and what you're going to write about on your blog.
Solve a problem and they'll keep coming back. Okay, so perspective. A lot of people don't necessarily think about like, okay, well, I'm just writing, right? Like it's from my perspective, yes. But there are different tracks that you can take. You can be the teacher. Like your blog is teaching people something. So I'm teaching it. I'm explaining step by step. You're a little more down. You go down and explain things exactly how you're doing it. Or you could be an expert. Like I'm the expert. See what I can do. Here's all my stuff. Or it can be like, I am just learning. I'm in the trenches. I don't know what's going on. Like I'm battling these children on a daily basis too, or I am learning to cook and you're following me along the way. Like I'm not the expert. Think about it. Like my expert cooking blog is going to look different than my I'm learning to cook blog. So
much different. Yeah.
Much different. So think about like, what is your perspective? How are you communicating? Where are you coming from in this? And it's okay sometimes to bounce back and forth a little bit, but really stick with one thing and go forward with that.
Own it. Definitely own it. So we want you to do a little bit of homework with this. We want you to think about, what kind of site do you really wish was out there? Is there something that's not being fulfilled yet? What blogs and websites do you like? So take some time and, scour the internet and look at websites that you like and ones that you don't like, and make a list. Why do you like them? Why don't you like them? And what's missing on those sites? So maybe you're looking for some information online for something that, suits your needs, or something that you're researching in your personal life, and you just can't find the information that you want. Well, right there is an opportunity for you. Maybe that's something you can approach for your website. So is there something out there that you wish was out there? Once you have that sweet spot, you can really start to narrow it down and, keep your focus on it. And that's your niche. So once you find that spot and you've drilled the topics down and you found out what you really want to write about, that is your niche. And that's what you're going to be writing about and focus on. And then every idea that pops into your head, you have something to compare it to. You say, does this fit into my niche? And decide if you want to do it from there.
And to add on to this part, we want you to think about like your categories here. Okay. So if you're a recipe blog, or, you're going to be a food blogger, that's your niche, but what are your categories also? Are you going to do breakfast, lunch, dinner? Are you doing, chicken, beef? Like you're just doing dinner. And so you're doing chicken, beef, I don't know what else is out there. Veggie. So really think about, like, you've got your niche and you've got some of these 3 to 5 categories that you're covering in this too.
Yeah. So like, for instance, my website I'm a food blogger primarily. So I do a lot of recipes. I don't do difficult recipes. I do quick and easy recipes that are tried and tested and have received my seal of approval and my family's seal of approval. So my categories are quick and easy, slow cooker recipes, easy desserts, things like that. I don't venture into gluten-free or, vegetarian or paleo. I try to keep true. There are recipes that I like that fall into those categories, but I try not to blog about them because that's not what my niche is about.
Right.
Which takes us to our next point.
Which is, who are you writing to? This is a key point. And I know I've struggled with this on my blog because I've gone through all of these things myself and trying to figure out who is it that I want to write to. Who you have to have this person in mind. And it's much easier to write a letter to a specific friend than all your friends and try to hit all the things to that they're interested in. So when you're thinking about your target audience, you want to really think about like their demographics. Like, who are they? Are they married? Are they women? Are they men? How old are they? Like, not a range. We're not talking like women from 18 to 65 read my blog. Well, that's way too general, like, what's their income level? Are they stay-at-home moms? Are they work from home moms? Are they working moms? Like, those different moms have different needs. And so you're also thinking about, sorry, the dog's wandering around and it distracted me. Their age, their family, how many kids, do they not have kids? Do they have kids? But also their psychographics, right? Like, what are they struggling with right now? What are their beliefs? What are their needs? What is it that they are searching for? What's going to help them on a daily basis? You know, quick and easy recipes, that's going to help any mom, but specifically like working moms. So if Christina's thinking like, okay, these are working moms that need quick and easy dinners, what is it that this is going to help her niche down and really target that one specific audience?
Yeah. And if you have a reader that you can picture in your mind who fits that, you know, your ideal target market, if you can actually picture that person in your mind, think about what it is. You can start asking those questions with the psychographics. You know, are they sports moms? Do they, you know, have to, you know, get home from school, pick their kids up from school, then quick come home, do homework, head out to soccer practice, you know, and then come home, clean up the kitchen. You can start to think about what their day looks like and what kind of problems they may face. And more importantly, ways that you can address those problems and help them through that. So that's, I think, a really important thing, is really knowing who that exact reader is and having a mental picture. Like this woman here on the picture, what you're writing for her may be very different than the woman up in the corner, you know, and how you're writing to address her needs.
And you can cut out a picture, right? Like cut out a picture, put it up and be like, name her. Okay, Jill has, you know, 3 kids that are ages 2, 4, 7. You know, like you can get that specific with your target audience is really helpful, so that when you're sitting down, you know, you've got it on your computer and you're writing to that person.
Yeah, and it may sound silly and it may sound hokey to actually have that picture there, but trust me, when you start brainstorming out content that you want to write about, your mind goes wild and you start coming up with all these ideas, and they may not all fit into your niche, and you could be wasting valuable time. This goes back to that whole time management thing we were talking about. You know, yeah, I could write a post on, you know, the 10 best paleo diet, you know, paleo dinner recipes I came across, but that really doesn't fit into my niche because that's not what my target reader wants to read about. So think about those things and where your time is best spent and working smarter, not harder.
And we're really seeing that niching it down is a big deal these days. So really being focused and really being smart and focused on that niche.
Yeah, quality over quantity any day, any day. So to put all of this together, what we've just talked about, we have a couple of printables to help you through this. So they will be included, you know, with this video. The one is on topic mapping. So that printable is going to help you map out the topics that you should potentially write about. The other printable we want to talk a little, or we want you to take a close look at, is your ideal reader and defining that ideal reader. And, you know, the things we just talked about here. What do they look like? The demographics, the psychographics. Like Sarah even said, just cut out a picture and put the picture right on there so you can actually visualize it and know who you're writing for and what content will meet their needs. So that's going to be part of your homework, but I didn't tell you that yet.
We'll get there.
Okay, moving on.
There we go. Naming your blog. Okay, so we're going to switch a little bit. You've thought about, you know, your topic, you know, like this kind of some of the subcategories, 3 to 5 subcategories that are your main niche topic is about. And then, so now you need a name. So we've not named it. We haven't named your blog and then decided what you're writing about. We want to decide what you're writing about and then name it. If you've already done this, it's fine, right? Like you may change your domain. I've changed my domain name. Christina's changed her domain name. Like,
yes, I have.
It's totally, you can change. You don't have to. We're just giving you some ideas to think about. So we
want you to work smarter and not harder and learn from the lessons that we learned the hard way.
Learn from your lessons. Okay, topic-based. You can, topic-based, right? You're damn delicious. Yummy, you know, what are yummy mommy, you know, gluten-free mama, Like she's got her topic gluten-free, like it's for moms that are gluten-free, right? Your personal brand, you could use your name and brand yourself. It depends on your niche, right? If that works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, then don't brand your name. If that's not what if you don't want to put your face and your life into that, then don't do that. Is it a local? We have a big site called Free Fun in Austin, right? You're going to, if there's something you want to do in Austin, then you go there and you look it up. So depending on if your blog is about local stuff, do you want to put the name of the town that you're in or the state? Or is it just something cutesy like thepinkladybug.com, you know, like something cute? That's okay too. It doesn't necessarily have to be related. It can be general enough. But that's what we want you to think about. Like really think out this name thing. Is it general enough yet specific enough? And I know that sounds contradictory, but we'll talk to you about a couple of things here in a second.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with the name for your blog, we want you to think about a couple of things. First of all, what is your brand going to be? I mean, if you're looking to make money off your blog at some point in time, you really need to do the homework up front and think about branding, because this is a business. This will be a business for you. So we want you to put on your entrepreneur hat and, you know, think like an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs think about branding and marketing. So what is the brand that you want to convey to your readers and to the community at large? What are your 5-year goals and what are your 10-year goals? If your goal is to start this website up, get it going, build a following, and then sell it, which is a very possible thing that people do. They sell websites all the time and blogs all the time, and sometimes for big amounts of money. So it is, you know, definitely something that's doable. If that's your goal, you need to figure that into your name. You'll have a much more difficult time selling ChristinaHitchcock.com than I would itisakeeper.com, because, you know, somebody may not want to buy something that's tied to my name. So you really need to think about where you're looking to go with your website, what you want it to do. Like I knew the day I started my website what I wanted it to be about. I wanted it to be about recipes that I have tried and tested and have approved. You know, it is a keeper. You know, it's a good recipe. It's a keeper. I'm going to keep it around. I knew that from the beginning. So for me, it was like that aha moment that I had, and it just happened to work out that way. I was lucky enough, you know, when I went through this, in thinking about my brand and my 5 and 10-year goals, that my name was broad enough that I was able to incorporate family and home and not just recipes. I could pull in, you know, my 5, you know, I could talk about family and home kind of things, like my 5 favorite, toys for 9-year-old boys. You know, I could, you know, it's a keeper, and translate it into that. So, you know, think about those kinds of things, where you want it to be, what your exit strategy is, and what your brand is.
That's a hard one. It's hard because I made the mistake, right? I had my name. Yep. I started out, my name was in my domain name, and it just didn't fit me. It didn't fit anymore, and I needed to make a change. So, yep. Okay, so we are talking about coming up with a good name. So how can you do that? Think about what you like, think about your topic, think about what you're writing about, but also look at your competitors. What kind of things are they using? You can have a play on words, you can use humor, alliteration, you can use your name, use a thesaurus, like talk to your friends, talk it out. Don't go with that very first one, and do not go and buy a domain. Do not go and buy a domain. That is not your homework. It is specifically, you're stating that is not your homework today. You are just brainstorm coming up with a name.
Yep. Get a list. Start a list. Remember, I talked about that notebook in the beginning. You're going to need it. So start brainstorming out potential ideas. And you can use all of these tools to help you come up with stuff. Another way to do it is to think about what your blog is going to be about. Is it about food, exercise, kids and family, crafts, you know, DIY? Think about the topic you want, the broad topic you want to write about. And then think about what are some other words for these topics. You know, food could be associated with the word nosh, or exercise is fitness. Kids and family could be kiddos. Think about, you know, like Sarah said, use a use a thesaurus and really start brainstorming out what different words could be. Think about descriptive words that relate to your content. Is it healthy? Are you talking about beginners? Are you talking about happy? Think about the words that describe what you want to write about. Is it going to be easy or simple or fancy or elegant? Things like that.
And those words are going to be important because you've got, right now, most 2-word domains are taken, right? So like veggie girl, that's taken, right? So healthy veggie girl, simple, like simple green vegetables, like you're going to have to add in a little bit more, typically a 3-word domain now.
Yeah.
So start putting words together, see if you like them, bounce them off other people's ideas, bounce them all around in the group. Don't buy a domain. Don't get all the social media. Think about it. Think about different variations, right? Is Cook's Confession, like, does it have, or It's a Keeper versus It Is a Keeper, right? Like, what's it all going to look at like?
That was a big one for me. I was stuck on It's a Keeper. I'd had that with WordPress.com and we'll get into that a little bit, for a while. And I wanted to buy my own domain, but it wasn't available. It took me forever to realize I could take the apostrophe and break up the contraction. That took me forever to realize that it is actually it is. So something so simple just eluded me for so long. I went around and around and around with that. So that was, that's my own personal story there. So sometimes don't forget the obvious.
Yeah. And so next, I think.
Yeah. So here's some examples of good site names and bad site names. Now, with this being said, we don't mean to offend anybody. So the ones we have in the bad site names may work for you, they may not. So we're just giving examples. These may not even be real sites. We just kind of made them up. So a good name would be The Silly Turtle, or yourname.com. So maybe, a friend of ours has a site called Carriel.com. That's a really good name for her. Or maybe it's Darling Darla. Bad site names would be like Toddler Times. And the reason we put that into the bad site name category is it may niche you down too much. If you're writing about your child, they're not always going to be a toddler. They're going to go into preschool, and then they're going to be school age, and then they're going to be, time doesn't stop.
And that's what happened to me. Yeah, that's what happened to me. My kids weren't little kids anymore. They weren't home anymore. So having a mommy site didn't work for me anymore.
Yeah, and you might find yourself now having, niched into writing about toddlers, and you're no longer in that space in your life. Crystal's Musings, and we put this on here for a couple of reasons. Number one, the spelling. It's not a typical spelling, so people may not catch that, and it may not be memorable enough. So really think about, that kind of stuff. And that may be a more difficult URL or brand to sell eventually if that's your goal. Keeping it real with Darla, it's just kind of long, and you have the G off of keeping. That would be more difficult. So you've really got to put your mind into think about the person that could be typing this URL into their keyboard and how they would go about typing that.
And lots of URLs work these days, and things come up, and they're easy to find. But there are still things like you again, think about your exit strategy. Think about where you are, not just in your life, but where you're going to be in 5 or 10 years. If this blog's going to grow with you, and the name going to grow with you.
Yes. Okay, moving on.
Okay. What number is this, Christina? 22. Okay, so there are some things when you're thinking about your name or your URL. What are you going to keep in mind? All right, is it memorable? Will it last? Is it too specific or too long? Is it easy to spell? Does it have your keywords? Right, gluten-free mama, gluten-free. It's got her keyword in it. Is it going to last for a long time? Right? Is gluten-free going to go out? And is it a fad? It's not. But is it a fad and it's going to go out, and then she's going to be stuck with this blog on a domain that's not quite popular any, Shopkins or whatever.
Like the Atkins diet or
Right.
South Beach, something like that.
Right. So is the URL available, right? You can go namecheap.com and type in different URLs. Is it available? Don't buy it, but you can go there and type them in and see, is that stuff available? Are we gonna the 2 to 3 words, is that a slide, Christina?
No. So
okay.
Cover that here.
So so you want to think about 2 to 3 words in your domain name. You want to stick to .com. I know there are a ton of them available, but most people say .com. Okay, there are businesses that have been built on .net. There are businesses that have built on .me. There are businesses built on .co, but typically it's .com. Okay, steer away from symbols, hashtag, dashes, numbers. I made that mistake. Anything like that, underscores, like dash, dash, dash in between your words because you really wanted gluten-free mama, but somebody else already has it, so you do gluten dash free dash mama. Yeah, no, just pick something else. Is it easily spelled, right? Like that Crystal example, most people are going to think C-R-Y, where this lady's name was C-H-R. People aren't going to be able to find it easily. All of those things, and don't use a brand name, right? Don't use the brand name like Keurig recipes, right? You don't want to have coffee. That's a brand. You don't want to use any brand name because they will come after you.
You will get a cease and desist letter so fast.
Yeah, they will come after you.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last point on here, were you done, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last point on this slide is, are the social media sites available? So that's a great segue into the next thing we want to talk about. And I know that the heading on this says get it all now, but we don't want you to get anything just yet. We want you to think about when you secure your URL for this brand that you're developing, you also want to make sure you can secure the Gmail, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Pinterest, the YouTube, the Google+, the Periscope, the StumbleUpon, and whatever else may come down the road. Because they tend to pop up all the time. So you want to make sure that you can secure all of these sites with your brand name.
We're not saying you have to use all of them.
No, but secure them so that somebody else doesn't come in and take them. So we have a printable that we are going to be, that you have access to. It's your name brainstorming printable, and it's a little spreadsheet. And as Sarah knows, and several other people know, I am a spreadsheet addict. So I find that keeping track of this stuff on a spreadsheet was very helpful. So when I was renaming my site, it was something that I kept. I just put all my brainstorm names, down one column, and then, through the rows, I just marked off, was the Gmail available? Was the Twitter available? Could I get it through YouTube? So making sure that I could secure that. And then that helped me think through what the best option for me was. So, and as soon as a new social media platform is announced or released, whether you know anything about it or not, jump on and grab your username.
Yep.
That's a big one. You want to make sure you have that because you want to be consistent in your branding. Consistency is key.
Okay.
So
take action. What do we want you to do? Finish this session and go do something. Do your topic mapping. Okay. What is it that your niche is going to be about? What are your categories within that niche? What is it that you're going to be writing about? And we don't want, don't pick 20 different categories, pick 3 to 5. You have your niche and you have 3 to 5 categories. Define your ideal reader. Who is it? What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? And brainstorm your names. You can go and do the research. Go to namecheap.com, type in the different URLs, see if they're available. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter, whatever. You can do the research, put it into your checklist there, your spreadsheet, and well, what if I went this way? And oh well, but what if I did just my name? Is that available? What if I did, my topic or whatever? So do your research.
Yeah, and these things will help you by doing this work ahead of time and not, jumping into action, too much action too quickly. This will help you make smarter decisions down the road. And like we said, we're all about working smarter and not harder. We want you to learn from the mistakes that we've made along the way and start your blog off on the right foot.
Yeah. Or restart your blog on the right foot.
Or restart your blog, or things to think about if you've already started your blog.
But just really go through these sheets, go through these exercises, and really kind of help figure out who's reading, what you're talking about, and if you have chosen the correct name or you need to redo it a little bit. Okay?
And if you have questions about any of this, feel free to hop over to the private Facebook group set up just for bloggers that are taking this class. We have our Smart Start blogging class classroom Facebook group set up. So feel free to hop over there, and we will have a thread set up for session 1. And that's where you can post your questions about session 1 under that thread. And we'll help you, and the other attendees will help you.
Okay.
Okay, so
take action.
And we will see you in session 2. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.